Hey everyone, today we're diving into a really practical way to get things done, especially when you feel totally and completely stuck. It's called the brick and pencil method, and you know what? It might just change how you look at your biggest goals.
I mean, how relatable is this? That feeling of wanting this huge, life-altering change, but the thought of it is so massive, it just sends you scurrying back to something you can actually manage, like the laundry basket. And just like that, you're stuck in the procrastination loop. And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? When you've got zero motivation and your goal feels like it's a million miles away, what on earth is the first step? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into in this explainer. To really get the solution, we've got to understand the problem first. And the source material frames it so well with this metaphor of an unscalable wall. And this is the light bulb moment. The idea of changing your life, that's the wall. It's huge, it's intimidating, it looks impossible. But a brick is fine. You can pick it up, you know exactly what to do with it, it's manageable. So here's the thing. The wall isn't really the task itself. It's the pressure we pile on ourselves. It's this belief that we have to wake up one day as a brand new, super confident, totally transformed person before we're allowed to start. And that belief, that's what keeps us frozen in place. Okay, so let's get into the solution. Let's see how this actually works. This simple method has two key parts that work together beautifully: the brick and the pencil. First up, the brick. Think of it as your secret weapon against that giant wall. A brick is any task that is so tiny, so ridiculously easy that your brain doesn't even have time to argue about it. I'm talking 2 minutes tops. Drafting one sentence of an email, wiping down just one countertop. It's all about making the act of starting practically effortless. And you can really see the difference here, right? On the left, you've got the wall mindset. It feels impossible, overwhelming, and it demands you become a whole new person. But the brick mindset on the right, it's not about some huge transformation. It's about 2 minutes. It's about doing just one thing, which then makes the next thing feel a little bit easier. It's all about building that precious momentum. And that brings us to part 2, the pencil. This part is all about being kind to yourself. You make a plan, sure, but you hold it lightly. Because life happens, right? Things get canceled, you feel tired, something unexpected pops up. The pencil is your permission to erase, to reschedule, to adapt your plan without feeling like you've failed. I absolutely love this description. It just completely flips how we think about confidence. We sit around waiting for it to show up so we can finally start. But that's not how it works. You have to do this small, kind of scary thing first. You lay the brick, and only then does confidence show up, panting a little to say, hey, look at you go.
Okay, but here's a really important piece of this puzzle. This isn't just about what you do on your own. A huge part of this is understanding that you don't have to build a life brick by brick all by yourself.
This is such a crucial idea. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. It's just smart. It's a practical exchange. Think about it. Getting someone to help you for just a couple of hours can totally reshape your week. It gives you back the time and the energy you need to lead your own bricks. The source material introduces us to what it calls a support crew. First up, there's Harold. And his value isn't just about doing tasks, it's his presence. It's his ability to just listen, to provide that companionship. That's a huge form of support. And then you have Mrs. Khan. Her help is called casserole diplomacy. It's not some formal service. It's the neighbor who drops off food and keeps an eye out. It just goes to show that your support crew can come in all shapes and sizes. So, the big question. Does this gentle, one brick at a time approach actually work? Let's fast forward a bit and see what happens when you stack up all those bricks in pencil-drawn plans over a whole year. In this timeline, well, it really shows you everything. It all starts with one tiny brick, joining a class. That one step leads to building a community. And that community gives you the confidence to seek out more formal support. And then, brick by brick, it all leads to this huge milestone, getting published online. See, none of these were giant leaps. They were just a logical, steady progression of small, consistent actions. And this is the emotional heart of the whole thing. It's a text from Sam's partner, Maya, after a really tough week. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's not to stop wobbling. The real skill is to learn how to wobble sensibly, to handle setbacks with a bit of grace, and then just get back to laying the very next brick. Okay, so we've got the story, we've got the philosophy. Now let's get to the really practical stuff. Here is a toolkit pulled straight from the source that you can start using literally right away. This template is how you plan your week with a pencil. First, you put in the stuff you absolutely have to do. But then, and this is important, you intentionally add in small joys and schedule time to recover. Then you pencil in one small brick each day. And finally, my favorite part, you leave some white space. You leave that wiggle room because you know life is going to happen. And that's totally okay. Now, if social anxiety is your wall, this conversation mini menu gives you some bricks. You get a simple opener, a great follow-up question, and even a friendly way to exit a conversation. These aren't rigid scripts you have to memorize. They're just tools to make connecting with people feel less like a performance and more like a simple, low-pressure exchange.
And here are even more ideas for bricks. For a 10-minute brick, maybe you just write one messy paragraph, not the whole chapter, or just tidy one drawer, not the whole house. And a 2-minute brick? We're talking about just opening the link you've been avoiding, or wiping down one surface. They're designed to be so achievable, you kind of can't say no.
So let's bring this all home with what might be the most powerful idea of all. The real magic here isn't in getting it perfect the first time. The magic is in learning that starting again is a skill you can practice.
And this is the final beautiful takeaway. You don't need a personality transplant to get where you want to go. You get to be you, your quiet self, your stubborn self, your messy self, and still build the life you want. And that's not settling. That's craftsmanship. It's carefully placing one brick and then the next to build something strong and real and true. So that's the brick and pencil method. It's a reminder that you don't have to wait to be ready. You can just be you and start building. So find your smallest possible brick. All right, off you go. 2 minutes.